Henry Sweets is here, the executive director of the Mark Twain Boyhood Home and Museum. Henry, good morning.
Good morning, Harold.
It is Henry and I for the moment. Perhaps we'll have some additional company as we go along this morning. But in the meantime, Henry and I will talk about the goings on. Of course, we always say it, always a lot going on in the life of the Boyhood Home and Museum. And you've got something for the folks to come see that is particularly neat right now.
Well, yes, Harold, we try to bring in exhibits of materials that are not our own on occasion. And right now, Nora Creason and Don Metcalf from here in Hannibal have loaned us some articles that I think would be very familiar to a lot of our people. These are the original illustrations, I think there are about 18 of them altogether, from a special edition of Tom Sawyer. Tom Sawyer was illustrated when it first came out in 1876, and it's been illustrated literally hundreds of times along the way. These illustrations are from a 1955 edition that Whitman Publishing put out, and that was a widely distributed edition, and people have already come in and say, oh, that's the edition that I read as a boy or I saw as a girl, and so they're eager to see these illustrations that look so familiar to them. So this is in the auditorium of our museum gallery building. People can come in and can come up to see those. Again, want to remind everybody that if you're a Hannibal resident, you have free admission to the museum at any time. So certainly want to invite our listeners to come down and see this special exhibit that we have of artwork for one of Mark Twain's books.
Indeed. And Melissa Cummins has joined us this morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Yes. So, the next thing on the list, something that is coming up in Hannibal, the Mark Twain Conference.
Yes, Harold. Our friends out at Elmira, New York, have been having a quadrennial or every 4-year conference on Mark Twain. And that has turned into quite an event. The one that they had 3 years ago had, I think, 140 registrants for it, and they literally come from around the world. Well, we decided that having one of these every 4 years was not frequent enough. So in 2011, we started a conference here at Hannibal. And the two are different in that the one in Elmira is a little more scholarly. The papers they present are fairly in-depth looks at Mark Twain. Ours, we invite people to present papers, and we had a number of papers presented back in 2011. Our theme is wanting to focus on Hannibal, Missouri, or the Mississippi River. And so ours is a little more limited in a different direction than the conference out at Elmira. We have just put out a call for papers, and if anyone is interested, they can contact the museum, and we'll be glad to get the information on that to them. These papers will be read by a panel and selections made for presentation at our conference, which will be in July of next year, July 2015. From the people that made comments at the Elmira conference 3 years ago, or 2 years ago rather, I'm expecting probably in excess of 100 people to be coming to Hannibal for our conference next year. These people will be coming from literally around the world. We had 3 from as far away as Japan that were here with our last conference. So we're beginning to make plans and looking forward to a 3-day conference bringing in Mark Twain fans. The people that come to these are not just the scholars. It's anybody with an interest in Mark Twain is welcome to come, and I think we'll find a lot of papers and interesting material.
Yeah, that's as you say, there are plenty of Mark Twain scholars, but I would suppose if Mark Twain was here to say that his work is just something only for the scholarly, he would rail against that big time.
Well, of course, Mark Twain was in the business of selling books to make money, and he would like any market that he could find.
You bet, yes. So the next thing on my list, the Associates Program and the Fence Painter.
Yeah, well, I think we put out the fence painter periodically. Henry is in charge of that, and it keeps everybody updated. And if anyone would like to be included on that, they can definitely contact us, and we can add them to the list.
Yeah, the Fence Painter, our publication, comes out every 2 months. And in addition to news of what's going on at the museum, we have historical articles in each issue. The last couple of issues, and this one that'll be probably going in the mail this week, we're very timely on that, have been dealing with the different postage stamp issues that came out from Hannibal related to Mark Twain. But we will then step back and take a look at events from Mark Twain's childhood here, commemorative dates when one of his books marks 100 or 125th anniversary of publication. We usually write about those, and then just whatever information we can bring that we think will be of interest to our readers.
So I see associates program here. What's that about?
Well, we actually sell memberships in the Associates program. And we
Okay.
have different levels. If you only want the newsletter, it starts at $15, $25 for an individual, and goes up to different levels above that. And a membership entitles you to receive the fence painter. We also send out word of all the different events coming to the museum if people will provide an email address for us. We don't sell that list to anyone else, but we do announce all of our museum activities that way. And we try to hold some special events for the associate members each year.
Melissa just got done with another successful season of Music Under the Stars.
We did. We had a wonderful season this year. It actually was extended for 2 additional concerts, which was amazing. And they were the concerts were donated by the bands themselves. They volunteered to play for us, Stepping Back and 7 Days Fuller from the Quincy area. Both amazing bands, had a wonderful draw. We were very blessed to have some wonderful weather. I think the heat just kind of kicked in all of a sudden just right after we finished. So we were lucky with that. And we have had such a good response from organizations, businesses, and the community sponsoring Music Under the Stars that keeps it going. So we're looking forward to another great season next summer.
Yeah, so it will be back.
It will be back. We will start that first Thursday in June of next summer and go through July.
Very good. And speaking of July, just got done with teacher workshop.
Yes, we had 2 week-long workshops this summer, and our focus was on Mark Twain's 2 books, Tom Sawyer and Huck Finn. We had 29 teachers who came in addition to, of course, Missouri and Illinois and Iowa, we had Indiana and Tennessee, Texas, Kansas, several other states represented with the teachers who came. We had great discussion sessions. Dr. Jocelyn Chadwick from the Graduate School of Education at Harvard University was here 1 week working with us, and Dr. Bruce Michelson from the University of Illinois English Department came the other. And so we were discussing these books, but we also were looking at it in terms of the Common Core usage of the books. And Dr. Julie Albee from out here at Hannibal LaGrange University was on board to work with the teachers on Common Core. And one thing that I do want to point out, the teachers all prepared a lesson plan, and these lesson plans are now on our website. So if you go to marktwainmuseum.org and hit the education page and for teachers, you can get into the lesson plans. And we have well over 100 lesson plans for different of Mark Twain's books that are available for anyone to use off our website.
And time is almost gone, but we always want to remind the folks, especially the folks in Hannibal, if they want to come to the museum.
It's free. That's right. Hannibal Residents, the museum properties are free. All you have to do is come into one of the admissions desks, show proof of residency in Hannibal, and you can tour all the museum properties. And we also have the free performances that go through October as well that are held at the main gallery at 120 North Main, which are included with your admission price. We have Lattice Cogswell and Jim Waddell, 2 wonderful performers that put on shows Wednesday through Sundays.
Yeah, Jim Waddell, if you haven't seen him as Mark Twain, you need to do that. And, of course, Gladys Cogswell, what can you say?
Oh, yes. She is an amazing storyteller. And not only does she tell, they're both Civil War-related performances that they do, but she sings as well. If you haven't heard this woman sing, she has some pipes.
She does, absolutely. Master storyteller, that doesn't even describe it. Yeah, absolutely. What are the hours these days at the Boyhood Home and Museum?
Well, we are open for viewing 9 through 5 every day, 7 days a week.
Yeah, and even if they don't come to the museum, they need to come to the gift shop.
That's right. Dina Ellis, our gift shop manager, has a wonderful array of products. They do vary depending on which gift shop you go to because we have three. So if you go to the Becky Thatcher, it's a little bit children oriented, a lot more toys. Go to the Boyhood Home, there's a lot of items that are related to Mark Twain and the Boyhood Home, a lot of books. And then you go to the main gallery, we also have jewelry. And Steampunk Festival's coming in. We have some steampunk jewelry there as well. We just got in. You'll have to come take a look.
Yes, we talked about that with some other folks. Mark Twain he kind of got into the science fiction in the Victorian era with one of his books.
Yes, when Mark Twain wrote Captain Stormfield's Visit to Heaven, this is really a science fiction story of a man heading to heaven on a comet and his journeys across the universe.
How appropriate for Mark Twain.
Then if we want to talk time travel, which is part of science fiction as well, The Connecticut Yankee in King Arthur's Court is a time travel book where a person from the 19th century takes his inventions and knowledge back to the 6th century and begins to use it on society there. So Mark Twain was very widely read, and as the genres began to change, he stepped into each one of them.
Sure. So if folks want more information about any of the goings-on at the Boyhood Home and Museum, what's the best way to get there?
You can go to www.marktwainmuseum.org or contact the museum at 221-9010.
That is the way to find out all of the goings-on at the Boyhood Home and Museum. Henry Sweets, Melissa Cummins, we appreciate the visit.
Thank you.